on our budget review schedule. I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Counselor Lehman.
Here.
Counselor Marcus.
Here.
Counselor Larson. Counselor Kuechly. Mayor Swanson.
Here. Start with council, mayor, administration, election. The first one is for the city council. And that hasn't changed much. We're looking at the same budget as we had last year. There's minimal expenses. The total for the full council is $14,500 again. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, there's a little buffer there, but better having a little buffer than not.
Yeah. Okay, the next page, mayor.
Way too much.
Well, it's good to have a little buffer there too. Actually, it's going down a few $100 for the upcoming year. So, the total budget is $4,972. Is that okay with everybody? Okay,
Yeah, I can always
we can tweak them
go through it
later.
and come back.
Yeah. The next one is administration. Well, this we can always come back to too and change if need be. That's a pretty substantial increase.
Well, we had a 29% increase on health insurance
Yeah,
for this
Yeah,
next year.
That's gonna hit on all the departments.
We need a new copy machine in City Hall, so we have that on there. I mean, this administration not only includes wages, it includes office supplies, all of the
Right.
letterhead, the phones, the postage, the insurance, everything.
What's the office rental or equipment rental?
Most-
From 700 to 25.
So we need a new copy machine, so instead of purchasing a new one, we're looking at doing what the library did and leasing one for the year. But we need a new one, so we had to budget for one this year, for this year.
Is it cheaper to do that?
Yeah, it
because
is.
them things are,
They're very expensive,
Oh.
yeah.
and when they go to
And then they maintain them,
maintain them, yeah.
which is nice. So are we okay with this budget for now?
Yeah, they went up 18,000, but like I say, there's a
Health coverage.
couple spots.
Okay, elections, we will be having
Election year,
elections next
yeah.
year, so that budget had to pop up a little bit too. It went from 4,000 to, well, 400 to $3,398, so an increase of $3,000 just about for that. But those are necessary, we really can't get away from those costs.
We didn't have any elections this year, so.
No, it's every other year that we have to. So, are we okay with the elections budget?
Yeah, it's just,
It is what it is.
yeah.
Okay, then we have finance, forms, accounting services, computer expenses, dues, licenses, fees, for a total of $15,235.
How come the bank fees went up so much?
The credit card fees went up.
Oh,
So what did?
The credit card fees.
Oh.
So are we good with that budget?
Yeah, it went up $1,000, but basically it's the one line item where it went up too was the
The bank fees?
The bank fees.
Yeah. Okay, then we have legal,
way too much.
actually going down.
Yeah, I must not be doing something right.
Must be doing something right, they're actually going down $450, so. $7,150 budgeted. We're okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Personnel, that's personnel testing and employment. We brought that up $100 from last year, so for next year, we're looking to put $1,000 there. Personnel testing, yeah, went up. Okay,
Yep.
planning and zoning. We're actually gonna bring them down a little bit, $250 down from last year.
When we publish those ordinance changes, does that come out of here? Or is that,
Yeah, that's part
Council.
of
Yeah, that would come out of here.
okay.
But we have that resolution for tonight.
Yeah, well, and we're gonna try to update that a little bit more,
Mhm.
so. Basically, we've had budget items there. Well, you can see where in 216, we had some ordinances added and that, and, you know, budget went over our budget, so.
Right.
Putting a few bucks there for,
$1,250, is everybody okay with that? For now, I think that's good. And City Hall, that's also going down about $1,000 to $14,500.
you know,
That's
gas.
everything to keep the building going.
Natural gas went down.
Mild winter.
Per therm is down too.
Mm-hmm. So is everybody okay with the
Yeah,
City
it's,
Hall budget?
$1,000 less than last year.
Okay. Law enforcement, we've cut that down quite a bit too. So we're looking at $63,000 for the budget for the upcoming year. Previously, it was $98,000, so.
What do we had, 6 or 7 days for 2 weeks?
Well, they do 3 days on 1 week and 2 days on the next
Oh,
week.
five for 2 weeks?
5 for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 20 hours. Pay period, or every 2 weeks.
Yeah, every 2
2
weeks.
weeks.
They do like a 6, they do like more 1 week and less than 2.
So that's down by $35,000. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we've got the fire department budget, which is increasing about $600 on their budget.
The only thing I got to say about this, like Josh, you know, like this year we got all that brand new equipment and stuff, but we're not putting any money towards buying new stuff. You know, like an extra turnout, set turnout gear every year.
No, but we have been budgeting 5,000, so if we do have to buy a set, because we do, I mean, with the people that we even have now, we're gonna get enough gear for everybody. So ideally, that's where that $5,000 is, if you have
And
to outfit
uniforms?
one person a year.
Yeah, under
it
uniforms
chews
he's
up
got.
pretty quick, so. But yeah, some years we don't buy any, you know, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah. So you're good with the budget?
I'm good with it, yeah, we
Okay.
kinda looked over this a few times, so.
And then we're increasing the capital motor vehicle from nothing to 1,000 for, you know, the question I had maybe for Diana is, if we don't use it, where does it go then for all the funds? I mean, probably back in the general fund or what?
Unless it's otherwise requested
Right
to
here.
roll over,
Department requests and the council approves,
keeping
putting
it
it
in.
into designated capital.
Now,
for-
does
Right.
that have to be done every year? or-
Yes.
Okay.
How come like, well, that was back on the law enforcement. We had, in a couple of years, we were putting $5,000 aside for a new car.
That was a capital account. We can have those capital accounts and we can put money into those accounts too. And they could even, the fire department could request that any excess money at the end of the year be put into their capital
Yeah, the
accounts.
city does it you know, what money's left over, we put into the capital.
If the requests aren't made, it just automatically
Right,
goes into the
yeah.
general fund, but
Yeah.
if you want to keep that in the department to put towards something long-term, that's a good time to do it. Because the
Well,
money's already been set
Well,
aside.
Yeah, and it's easier when you know, if you start pinching pennies and that, when they know that, you know. it's-
Yeah, it's going towards something
Yeah.
that you guys are going to use, so, yeah.
That was my only question, I mean, because we used to do it for the cop car and we're not really doing it for the.
Oh,
any
and we
other
did it for
truck.
city equipment too, just annually putting money into
Well, yeah,
a
we don't,
capital account.
we don't do that for the city either. We just, what's ever left over, we'd ask to come here and ask council for, put it in the pot.
Okay.
So is everyone good with the fire department then?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, fire station. The budget for the fire station is down $500 to $5,500. Yeah. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, it's pretty flat line for
Yeah.
the last 3 years, even went down for over the last 3 years.
Yep.
Must be the LED lights.
Okay, building inspector. Building inspector is supposedly pays for himself by the fees that are charged when
Yeah.
he comes to inspect anything.
Well, that money
But we-
comes in through us and then.
Right, and then gets replenished here. We have to have the money set aside in advance though, so it's going up $100 from $2,900 to $3,000 for the year. Everybody's okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was an easy night with the budgets.
You need a motion?
To approve these ones, yeah, but if
Well, we're
I just
just-
wanna say something about the building inspector, so we're gonna be sitting down with, the building inspector and talking about, taking, right now, I told planning and zoning this, he gets 100% of the planning fee, the plan review fees, and of the building permits, he gets all of that. We keep $3 of every building permit. So in 2016, we issued 39 building permits. 6 of them were fences, which we don't charge for. We made $99 on building permits, and we pay out every month to Pat.
But his expenses are totally paid.
We pay
No,
him
we budget for it.
$150 a month.
She's just
and-
saying if we do
Right,
it a
but
little
he
bit.
reimburses, he's reimbursed, the city's reimbursed for his fees through
No.
what we charge.
No.
No,
We don't charge
No,
enough.
that's
we
what
don't
we're
charge
looking-
enough.
Yeah.
Originally, that was the idea of it, was that we would have fees in place
Yeah.
that would cover his
Yeah.
costs.
We're hoping
So
to.
that's what we need to do.
That's why she was talking about the $100
Yes.
that we talked
Yep,
at long
yep.
range, yeah.
Those are
So
ways of
if you
covering
look the
costs.
forms, to just
Yep.
get the printed forms, it's $100. We only made $99 in 2016 and
Right.
$87 in 2015.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So that is one of
So
the.
that's something that'll be addressed.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we can go into our regular meeting.
Yeah.
Do-
I'll
you
make
need
a
more?
motion to approve the following budgets tonight.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Just, Josh, do we got, for what we're doing with the ambulance, are we gonna be able to put like the 10 grand we normally do into the pot for the ambulance, fire truck? Because you'd always donate it to the city and then we put
Yeah,
it in
and I
that.
think last year we
Last
didn't, yeah.
three.
I mean, it's
I think it
hard
was-
to purchase something unless
16
we,
and 17 we haven't.
We haven't, so we kind of, but we keep it in our, I mean, it's not that, we're not banking as much, we're just not turning it over right away for capital. We're kind of hanging on to it in case we,
yeah, but it should be for larger projects. I mean, the ambulance and a fire truck or a brush truck or,
well, yeah, and we're, this year I gotta sit down with Diana and talk to her and see, you know, we try to watch what's coming in and but it's kind of hard. I mean, I just looking at last month's report and for what we put out compared to what we might get back for insurance that month is, you can't line it up, so.
Well, good luck.
But yeah, definitely, I mean, if there's a surplus, we want to roll that over, so 5,
Into
6
capital.
years, we can purchase another ambulance or whatnot.
Right.
Well, like I say, you gotta watch the books. We can't spend what we don't have.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it takes a long time to get paid from the insurance companies. and
Right.
stuff.
There's
Well, I
calls
know,
from
but
3
there's
years ago
still-
that we're just getting paid on now, so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're looking at increasing rates, but we're also, the state is starting a program where they're gonna reimburse cities for Medicare calls. And so we just filled out an application and we got selected. So what's gonna happen is they're going to do a report on our average Medicare calls, and then the 3 top paying insurance companies for commercial payers, and they'll supplement the city the difference for those calls. So that's gonna be starting here soon. So we'll be getting reimbursed.
Money that we
For
get
some
set
of-
aside. then.
you were aware of
Yeah.
that, Josh? Okay. All right, well, we'll go to reports from department heads. Public Works?
Mostly just have the agenda item tonight.
Okay.
We'll probably just go through it under that. Otherwise, I don't know if you guys have any questions, comments.
Everything's going okay?
Yeah, everything's going good. We have the cemetery to mow, and then we're gonna be done mowing for the year. We're gonna put that stuff away, kind of transitioning, getting ready for winter. And then, went through the alleys again, kind of touched them up. Hopefully they stay put until the snow flies.
Okay. All right, thanks, Trent. Fire and ambulance?
It's not a whole lot new, we're just talking, we'll be looking at sometime, either by the end of this month or first week of next month, flushing hydrants. So we'll, give City Hall a couple week notice so they can get it out to everybody in time. Got a few people in the EMT class right now, so, hopefully come springtime, we'll have more EMTs on the roster. Been holding steady with our calls. You know, every quarter is we're on track to do, if not exceed what we did last year for calls, so. And then the power load is all up and in and running, so that'd be nice. Lot less chance of back injuries and that kind of thing now for our staff, so.
Good.
It was fantastic to get that grant, so.
Good.
Did you ever see those, like 4-foot signs where a picture of a hydrant?
Yes.
You come into town, it says, we're gonna be flushing hydrants, you know,
Oh, I guess I haven't seen those ones.
I mean,
And
they're-
you do the dates there?
yeah. And everybody who goes in and out of town would see that,
Okay.
you know, you guys are flushing, you know, October 29th.
Okay.
You know, or then the 30th. I mean, the dates are different every year, so you'd have different dates, but
Yeah.
basically you know, it's just like the things that they have up at the senior center, the churches, they have these
Okay, yep.
tripod with a fire hydrant. And down south, they're all over.
Okay.
You know, they don't put them in the paper because I suppose population's too big, but
Right,
they
yeah.
put it in key areas.
And we've done that for years here, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
we try to hit the local newspapers, we post it.
Yeah,
all,
but
and
I mean-
there's
Post
it
still
down at the
somebody
post
that's like,
office,
"Oh, I
yep.
didn't know you were doing this. And-
But if it was on
Yeah.
Right.
on the
okay.
certain, you know, coming into town,
In our
you know, the
access.
3 spots,
We would have to check with the state and the county if we can put a temporary sign there, because that's the right of way.
well, the water
Coming.
tank,
Yeah, other key spots
Over
we could,
here
but
and
not
over there.
coming into
Yeah.
town.
Yeah, definitely be
You know.
interested.
even right.
Look
you know,
into it and see. Okay, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, it would take, when you guys
Yeah,
do a little sign and painting, but
yeah.
I don't know.
if I see,
Yeah, I got all my fingers, I wanna keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, actually, if you have show it to me sometime,
yeah,
because I'd like to see it.
I'll take a picture next time. Usually I see them down south quite a bit, so I'll take a picture of it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
For this time, we'll probably put up flyers and put it out there on social media.
Yeah.
Sure.
Different sites.
Yeah,
But then you know, the other way, I don't think you'd have to do that. You just post these and pick them up when you're done and
Yep.
store them and,
Well, it's handy that everybody has to go to the post office to get their
Right.
mail to have it posted down there, but no matter what you do, there's gonna be
Right, it
somebody
always-
who's not
always
gonna
helps.
see it. So, yeah. Engineering, doesn't look like John's gonna make it. Attorney, Mike?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Long-range planning and zoning,
We had a planning and zoning meeting last Tuesday, October 10th. We discussed some ordinance, which is on the agenda for later.
right,
And then we had approved a variance for lot sale and state addition, which is on the agenda too.
right, okay. Recreation Board did not meet.
We didn't, couldn't make it to a meeting, but we got one scheduled for this week on Thursday at 5:30 at City Hall, so,
Okay.
and we have some stuff on the agenda.
Well, I don't think it's on the agenda, but maybe we could address that right now is advertising to hire rink attendants for this winter. I think it's a good idea to get that done early. Personally, I think we should still try for a supervisor. We've always had them in the past, and I don't know what's coming down the road, but if what the newspapers is telling us is accurate, I'd hate to have everything dumped on Diana.
Yeah, we can,
So we can advertise if they don't get anybody who's, who they feel comfortable with having in that position, but that'd be a decision for the rec board to make too, if they want to move ahead with a supervisor or not, but they could advertise for it and then go from there. And advertise for the rink attendance. I think all of that should be gone for.
well, the beach usually has somebody in charge, skating rink,
Right?
you know,
They always have,
they have
both of
somebody in
them.
charge.
Always have had someone.
all right, I'll make a motion that we put this out for the hire drink attendants and supervisor for the rink this year.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. The Library Board, we just had our big fall festival and chili cook-off. It was really well attended, and thank you to the fire department. You guys did a great job over there too. It was quite a great event that day. The weather was really nice. And I think that's about it for now. We are celebrating our 100th anniversary, or 100th birthday. Our library is this year. So we have more events coming up. We'll have a Halloween party the end of the month. That'll be posted. And BETA meets at the end of the month. Utility Committee. Do you have anything, John?
Oh, not really.
You haven't met? Okay, Sheriff's Report.
Sheriff's report, they had asked, me and Jen, we asked the city if we, or the county if we could get a monthly report like we used to, just to have, see what they've been doing. But so, monthly report for September, total police call activity year-to-date is 434 calls, and total for the month of September is 44. So,
Okay.
Could be 45, I saw him buzzing the town today. Or no, it's October.
it's October.
Clerk's Report.
So I heard last week we got a $10,000 grant for the source water protection for the Department of Health, so we can get the new doors on the pump house. We're still looking for proposals for the sheriff's car. They're due Friday, November 10th at 2 p.m. Other than that, nothing. I won the chili cook-off at the fall festival, so that was a good thing. That's all I got.
John, did you want to speak to us? We passed right by our engineering.
Sure. Just a couple updates. Joel and Sop's gonna start probably Thursday on the trailer court project. I think we moved some equipment in today and some equipment, or getting some materials delivered. So, if there's any questions or comments on it. He's hoping to get the trailer court part done this year, and then weather dependent, might move over and finish the
Grant.
other alley.
Grant Alley, yeah.
Otherwise, the other item, I don't know if it's on the agenda, Jen.
We have a resolution on here for going after some monies to cover a USDA grant.
Yeah, when we had our utility committee meeting end of September, we talked about, you know, the upcoming CDBG projects, and then maybe looking at a bigger project,
Okay.
and thought that, you know, with the capital improvement plan we have, you know, looking maybe for a big project and applying to this agency. It's a federal agency that provides loans and grants to, you know, small communities, and the application process is a little intense because it's with the federal government, and the IRRB does have it's called an application fund program, where they help communities fund those type of applications. So our recommendation was to pass the resolution and ask the IRRB to help fund. They pay for up to 50%.
Okay.
With a max, I believe it was $5,000 max. So
Okay.
that's that information from when that's on, comes up on the agenda there.
Okay.
The $10,000 grant we got, was that for again?
It's to get those new doors on the pump house.
Oh,
It's a non-matching grant, so it's all, the city won't pay for a thing. It's fully covered.
Is this on the agenda tonight,
Well, it's,
this resolution?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
Well, it's not on the agenda, it's an ad.
We're gonna add a resolution onto the agenda?
We have to apply for this by October 31st. This just came about.
oh, for that grant?
Yep.
Okay.
No, not for this IRRB grant, to apply for assistance with the
oh, that's
application.
bad.
So we'll add that as an add-on at the end, resolution 1729 it will be. Okay, anything else, John?
Nope,
That's it?
thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, council additions to the agenda, we'll put that resolution on for the end. All right. We also have a utility bill discrepancy. Did he put a letter in?
Tommy's right there.
Tom?
No, he's come and
Tom?
talked to me
Hello.
a few times.
Did you sign up on the agenda to speak?
Just sign that.
Citizens Forum, why don't you do that, and then we can address you in just a minute. Do we have any other additions to the agenda?
Are we,
The curling club.
are we adding this, corner fence ordinance, or is that?
Yep, the corner fence ordinance and the curling club.
Well, yeah, if we're gonna publish this would add to it, but it would all be done.
But the corner fence one didn't go before long-range planning and
Well, no, it
zoning.
Those are
didn't.
Marcus requests.
But
So
you're gonna
it's not-
publish this and then publish it again?
Well, it should go through the proper channels. I mean, it wasn't even discussed by long-range planning and zoning. I think it needs to go there first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, I'm like,
But as far as
Well,
the
we're-
community center agreement, I think that that's something that we could start working on and have our attorney look at.
Well, basically, we're just trying to save the city some money by adding this to the fences, because otherwise you gotta put it in the paper, and then you gotta do it again and put it in the paper.
All three of
I
them
think
are
it
on
has to
planning
go to
and
long-range
zoning.
planning and zoning.
we didn't, yeah.
All right. So citizens forum, that would be you two. I see that you've got a Got a little problem over there.
Yes.
Okay, so okay. Troy Olson has an outstanding bill, and I don't know if, Jen, if you wanna,
I didn't use any names except for
oh, I'm
her
sorry.
too. That's okay.
If you want to explain to anybody who doesn't know kind of the ordeal, or.
Sure, so Tom and Cassandra own the trailer court. We had a
A
trailer.
past owner who left a bill there
Yeah.
and then we skipped.
He left the bill and skipped. Meanwhile, the clerk at the time had made an arrangement for him to pay $75 a month, which clearly wasn't even enough, as it got to $1,900 to knock down the balance. It just kept going up. So he skipped town. Nobody knows where to find him. We've been trying. Then the owner sold the trailer to someone else and never told the city. So the utilities didn't ever get shut off like they usually would with the final meter read.
Right.
It wasn't until he just sold to Cassandra and Tom that we went and did a final meter read, shut the utilities off, and now,
You two weren't aware that there was almost $2,000 owed on back utility payments
No.
when you purchased the property?
And we made sure, because we told them, you know, yes, we wanna make sure that all your utilities are paid and stuff, which theirs were at the time. It was the people who were owning the house at that time, cause it was sold once to them people, and then we bought it from them. And they came and paid their utilities in full or whatever, and we made sure of it. And then we wanted to put the utilities in our name, and
That's when
we
this
couldn't,
came
and that's
up.
when this came about, so I mean, we're the, you know, second owner, and it's being passed on to us to pay the bill, and we're wondering, you know, why.
Well, this goes back, how far back does this go, Jen?
it goes pretty far back, but it wasn't until early 2015 that the guy
Right,
left.
that,
So it's been hanging out
So
there
it's been
for a
empty
while.
since 215-ish?
It hasn't been empty. The guy's son
no,
was
they just
living
never,
there.
they just never shut it off or let the city know it was transferring ownership. So it was going on long before that.
You don't have individual utilities on each trailer? Or, I mean, everybody pays their own
Yes.
utilities?
Yes, and the
Yeah.
person who was living there that they bought it through they were paying the bill.
Just not the previous.
Just not
owned
the
by
previous person.
owner.
Technically, before that new person just was living there, they would have been told,
Yeah,
You
well,
got it,
that's a,
Yeah.
why can,
Well,
when
and
this
they
is a
bought it, why
weird-
didn't they get the,
I don't know, I wasn't
No.
here.
the city does have,
It's,
I know that we have a rule about renters that if they skip out, the owners are now responsible for any of the utilities, but this isn't even a case like that. This goes
is a
so far
weird
back.
Case.
It seems to me that this, because it's so old, and it wasn't something that was on even, no one was even aware of until you came up here and tried to do things right.
Right.
So,
You guys understand now, you're responsible, if you rent that out, you're responsible to the utilities?
Yes, and we always have,
Right,
No, I know, I'm just,
you know,
yeah,
the mobile home owner is responsible,
right,
correct?
Yeah.
right.
Not the actual
Not the-
landowner.
Not the renter,
Right, but, so
The
this went
owner.
back to, then we were told since we were the landowners that it ultimately would fall on us.
right.
well,
Well, it does, so technically.
Anything in the future. As
Right.
far as this being old, I could see you wanting to ask to have this
right.
forgiven because it's something that you weren't even aware of until after you came up here to get things done right in the first place.
Right, and we always have taken care of our, you know, bills up here and everything, and we like to keep that going, you know.
Right,
But that's a huge setback, you know,
Yeah.
because we have already fixed up the house a lot, we repainted it, skirted it.
right. Well, the whole
you know.
trailer court is really well kept.
Well, thank you
It's
very
really
much.
nicely kept over there.
it's one of the best in Minnesota that I've seen.
We tried.
I mean, I am not,
We take pride in it.
Yeah.
I know, your dad did, and you
Yeah.
stepped
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
Tom and Tom took over, and it's good.
Yeah, thank you.
So can we have a motion to forgive this past utility debt? It goes back so
Yeah,
far.
like-
We can still try to collect from the
From the
person who
actual-
should collect from, however, I just don't want
It's-
Cassandra
it's
and Tom to
probably
be
not going to
responsible
be-
for it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that, but I'll make a motion that we forgive the outstanding balance
For the new
For
owners.
Cassandra.
for the new owners of.
And that we go after the
Cassandra.
debt from the person who owes it to the city.
Well, it's in the books.
And,
We can we turn them in for debt collection or?
well, I wanted to do that.
Yeah. Can we do it, Mike?
Well, I think Jen said they used to. Usually you, well, again, this is kind of a hybrid because they own the land, but the trailer might be owned by somebody else. So usually you just assess it against the
Personal
property and then it gets put on the tax roll. So if there's a change of ownership, the real estate taxes have to get paid. But in this case, it's kind of a hybrid that, the owners are still responsible even though it might be a movable trailer. They actually own the real estate.
Because usually it'll get assessed, we would do a resolution, it gets assessed with the county, and the county puts it on the land.
Can we go after the individual who actually owes
We can, but
the
I've been
money?
trying, and it would be the landlord of this person who skipped out on the bill, and hasn't been successful. He's saying the same thing, if you see the memo, he was calling here, and there is notes in the file that he was calling here, talking to the clerk at the time, saying he wants the utilities shut off. He doesn't think that he should only be paying $75 a month. So he's saying he's not paying it, because he's saying it shouldn't have gone.
Shouldn't have been accrued to this point.
Mhm.
What was do you know what most of it was, just
Well-
electrical or?
Well, it's electric, and because it was a $1,900 bill, it was a long time before before he left.
Yeah.
That was months,
This goes back a ways too.
and he was
so.
never shut off.
John, do you want to support the motion?
Yeah, I'll support that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried? Okay?
Okay, thank
All right.
Thank
Yep,
you. Have a good night.
you too. Any other citizens? No? You're going to talk to us tonight?
Talk tonight.
All right.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Trent if they wanted to get a new truck, and I was just thinking, if they just got a truck like Kinney and the township, just a 1-ton cabin chassis, put their sander on the back, put a plow in the front, and plow the streets like that. Instead of using a big truck all the time, they got the grader to back it up, and like you say, they can make one pass with the big truck, and stuff like that. And I was just gonna ask Trent if you think it'd be a good idea or not.
Gary,
Then you'd be saving, instead of getting another pickup, you'd have the 1-ton, and
We just bought a used 1-ton last year?
Mhm.
Last year, yeah.
well, you did, okay.
Yeah.
That's got our old-
What if you put a plow on that?
We have a plow on it.
You do?
Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay.
And I got another thing, I was looking in the paper and I see Jennifer leaving, and I was kind of upset, I said, why is she leaving? And they said, well, get the paper, so I got the paper, and they had a nice article that you're leaving, and you did a hell of a good job in town here. And another thing, like, I should have brought this up when Sherry brought it up, she was telling Jennifer about they shouldn't be having time doing the parade, and I didn't bring up, I thought nothing of it, I should have really. And I don't know who talked to you, Sharon, about, about her time. But I think it's a city, and I think anybody that's doing that job, it should have been her. Even if she did it, nobody should have said nothing about it. It's on city time, she's doing her job. Nobody else would do it. Nobody else would have put a parade on this town. I was in this parade, I drove down the street, and I seen so many people, I couldn't believe it. And that's all I gotta say, and I'm glad you got another job, and I hope you enjoy it, like a lot more than you did here. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
All right. Consent agenda, regular minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular minutes, city minutes of October 3rd.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I'll make a motion to,
Motion
Oh, yeah.
carried.
aye.
All right, claims.
I'll make a motion to pay the claims of $174,239.62.
Oh,
We have some add-ons on that, or what?
well, we were talking about the volunteer pay. Is that, I know Counselor Larson was here was in on the discussion.
Well,
so-
the discussions, if you're talking volunteer with the disc golf,
Right,
that, my understanding was volunteer, and I wasn't here at every meeting, obviously, but I recollected that if they had to call in heavier equipment or something like excavator or stuff like that, that there'd probably be submitting a bill for that type of work.
right.
And so I don't know, and I wasn't here at every meeting, but if people were putting in time for volunteer work, I thought that was, there's volunteer work and there's not volunteer work.
Right, and they have some that are volunteering, but some of this that they're calling volunteer are actually experts in their field, but they're looking for some reimbursement for the amount of time they're putting in, but it's nothing near what their wages would be. And that's my understanding from talking with them, that that's what this was about, was that these people would like to have some compensation for what they're doing out there, but they're not looking for a regular, what they would be paid otherwise. If you look at the people who they've had.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that, but to me, it was just,
My
it's
only
supposed to be
thing is
volunteer.
if we're paying them, then this should have gone out for bids.
I think
Well,
there's a money amount that it has to
Well-
go out for bids.
Probably, but they've
Does the
already
grant absorb this,
Yes,
the grant money?
well, the grant money is
Yes.
$38,250.
yes.
It'll be paid out of that, but it should be, I mean, it's all how you say
This was never
things.
in the agreement
Right.
that they were
But I
gonna
mean, it
get
was
paid
like
for volunteering.
consultant or something, but I put in 8 hours and I want to be paid 8 hours. That's more like an employee
Yeah.
rather than a volunteer.
Yeah, and they're not getting paid anywhere near what their wages would be for the expertise that they provided.
The
That's
council
in
never
here too,
approved them
exactly
getting
what they're
paid for
doing.
volunteer work.
Yeah, one of them's 500, and the other one's
Yeah,
250.
and they say partial
Right.
bill. I talked to Tim and he says this is only, he came here to bring these and he says this is just
Right.
partial and we should expect these every couple weeks.
Right, because they're having guys that are doing things that.
These are volunteers who are on the
they're
volunteer list.
volunteering to do them for a lot less than what we would pay if we were going to hire out.
But then it should have gone for bids.
I think there's a dollar amount where we're required to do that.
Well, we still have to send them a
Forbids.
1099 or
Right, and-
$500 or more.
They've got the W,
They fill out a
Nines.
W-9 because we're paying them
Yes.
like an independent contractor.
right.
And we didn't hire them.
Well,
That's why I say it's
And
all in how
they
you say
agreed to
things.
volunteer.
is there an issue with this, Mike?
Well, I mean,
It's not.
I wasn't here at every meeting, but my understanding was is they had a bunch of people lined up to, do the volunteer work, and there might be some of the things out of the ordinary, like excavating work or moving
Right.
boulders or putting in steps where somebody's gonna bring in specialized equipment, and there could be bills for that. And I don't know what the other stuff is. I mean, they've got people consulting them. I think it should maybe be more under the guise of a consulting bill, rather than.
So it's actually the language where you don't want
Well,
to say
yeah, I mean,
volunteer, you could say consulting
I mean, what if
or,
everybody who goes and does something else, anybody can volunteer in the city, so what if somebody
No.
goes out there and then wants to be paid?
he's very specific about the kind of work they're doing and what their area of
That's why I think it
expertise
was
is.
under a consulting thing that you went to
Right.
somebody to give you some more expertise.
Also, when I
Right.
talked to the IRRB, they said, they sent me the budget again that was submitted for the grant and said that we need to only submit for what was in the budget that they submitted.
Right.
And then I heard they're raising some of their own funds too. I mean, it's all horse trading to a certain extent, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's all coming to the city.
Right, but I mean,
Right.
say the IRRB didn't pay for that, but the city donations paid for consulting fees or to, that way.
Well, there's gotta be a way of working this out. I mean, they've done these golf courses in these other towns too. It's the same group of people.
Well, when they applied for this in
Well,
their
they've
grant, is this part of the money deal? Is that?
No, there was
an line-
nothing
line
about that
item?
anybody was gonna be
Oh.
paid money for labor.
So they applied for a grant, but now they're asking.
The only thing was they said they were gonna get a contractor for the concrete.
Well, that's this one's, well, one of them says.
Well, this is further on the agenda anyway. Why are we,
Cause paying them is part of the claims.
oh, as part of the claims, I see. Well, if we vote to pay them when we get to this, isn't that the same as okaying them on the claims?
Well, I would delete it, I mean, I'm not the mayor of the council, but if you delete it from the claims, then you take it out of there and you can discuss it later.
I'll take
Well, I know they're
750
looking
out of there.
at,
Whatever the ones that were submitted.
I wanna see them get paid because what they're doing out there is a terrific job, and if anybody's been out there to look at the work, it's fabulous.
Wasn't in the agreement.
And there wouldn't be anything here that would be untoward. I know that in working with these guys.
But that's just not the practice of the city, is to
Well,
allow somebody to go out and do work when they say
This
they're
is something
volunteering,
really
and then turn around and
unusual.
get a
This
bill.
whole thing is very unusual.
Well, the bottom line, it wasn't part of their
That wasn't
grant
part of their,
application or agreement.
There
And
was
they
something in
submitted a
there
list of
about work being
volunteers.
done and being paid at,
they submitted a list of volunteers before the project started, as per the council, and those people are all volunteers. And then they turned around and gave bills for their labor. We did agree to
Only-
reimburse them for gas and for equipment rental, but not their labor.
That's what I'm saying, it's more like an expertise that they needed some help, send it back and say, what actually expertise did you provide? and
well,
submit a bill for
it's
that.
detailed here. It says site survey, step design, stairway material selection and acquisition, equipment mobilization, gravel placement. And that was for $500, which was a partial payment, and this is an area of expertise. This guy is doing it for next to nothing. He's been here 4 times and he's charging $500 for doing all this work. The other one is for excavator operation.
This
Sonotube
isn't also a job that's
replacement,
supposed to.
T-pad construction, gravel replacement, ditch construction, road improvement, boulder placement, concrete cleanup, and he's asking $250.
That's the one I recall that.
I mean,
at a
they're both-
meeting.
This is also a
Such
job that
minimal
was
in
supposed to
amounts.
be prevailing wage as
Yeah,
well.
but they're partial payments, so we're gonna get another bill.
Yeah, we're gonna, they told
Yes,
us.
there
every-
will be more bills
every
coming
2 weeks.
because they've got people who have areas of expertise that are willing to come out and do this kind of stuff. And they've done them through their other operations, and they've done them with these same sort of grants.
Well, I'm just
So I just
looking
don't wanna,
at the Menards bill, and it has delivery charges on there, and then he's charging for materials acquisition. So I don't know what that is, but this is
That's
also a
something-
prevailing wage job. If people are being
Right.
paid, there has to be certified payroll reports. It's a prevailing wage job if you're paying people. If it's not volunteers, that's part of the
Suppose like
IRRP
If we
grant.
submit a claim to IRB and they're gonna pay it out of their money,
They're not gonna pay, they'll only pay what's on the grant, submitted on the grant.
well, that's my point. If
well,
not,
then it'd come out of our
Okay.
matching funds that they're
take your
collecting
donation
now.
funds, use the donation
Yes.
funds.
I just want to see them get paid because I know that these guys have been putting in a lot of time out there and they haven't been receiving any compensation. And
Well,
one
they're
in
volunteers,
particular
they're
is
not
really-
supposed to be
They weren't
getting
supposed
paid.
to.
Well, they understood that they could do it for next to nothing, but that there'd be some compensation for their driving back and forth and just some of the stuff that they've,
Well, how much donations we have to date?
And what did we get last time? 1,200 plus another 200, so there's
$1,400.
$1,400.
We only got $1,400 to donate.
well, there's 750 requested here and I'd like to see them get that. And in the meantime, maybe we'll find out exactly what it is, Mike, with them so that we're
Well-
sure that whatever we do moving
Yeah, it should
forward.
be
we're done.
hourly, I mean, it should be like expert consultation with a set fee or something.
Okay. We'll get that worked out with them.
Nobody's disputing the work they're doing, it's just how they say it. But I do recall excavator and, bringing in
The
equipment, that was
Yeah,
gonna be.
Right.
We knew that.
Right.
And materials.
Yeah.
So, do we add that 750 to the claims here then? Is that the idea? Or
If you-
do we have to wait and take the vote here
I
and
would,
then it just be
yeah, I would
added?
delete it from the general one and then address it and then earmark that to come from donations.
Was it already added to the claims?
It's on the claims, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, you could leave it in there with just that money would come from donations.
We'll leave it in here and then if it's voted down, then we delete it from the,
Yeah.
Did we get the donations?
Yeah, everything
Yes.
that we passed a resolution for, we have those checks for.
So the claims motion would be less than 750? That was at the bottom line, or leave it in there?
well, you know what? We may as well decide whether we're gonna pay these or not so that we can move ahead on the claims. I would like to see these two get paid for what they're asking. I know it's a
Well, I don't
minimal
think we
amount.
can not, I would think we have to pay
Well,
them
the
just
point
because
is,
we did, but
when it goes
moving
over the
forward-
$1,400 that you guys raised, then what?
Hopefully, before that happens, we'll have this all settled with our attorneys so that we make sure that it's done according to the
Just say that
agreement.
they're gonna get the 750 from the donations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have that motion?
I'll support it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Now I need a motion to accept the claims as they are.
That would be total?
Yep.
Well, I so move that we pay the claims of $174,239.62.
I'll support it.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carried. All right. A, Resolution 1726, a resolution accepting a donation from Ziegler in the amount of $200, and that's a donation for the disc golf. Of course, I have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the funds of resolution 1726.
$200 from Ziegler?
Yeah, $200 from Zimmer.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Roll call?
Counselor Lehman,
Yes.
Counselor Marcus,
Yes.
Counselor Larson, Counselor Teagley, Mayor Swanson.
Yes. Okay.
Man, my term is up on,
The CIRSSD Board term expires for Counselor Marcus, who's willing to continue serving on that board, and I would like to appoint him to continue through another term.
I'll make a motion that we have Mr. Marcus stay on for another term.
I'll support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Am I the only one voting?
Voting for.
Okay, motion carried.
We need we have to do a resolution, so we need a roll call.
Yeah, resolution.
Resolution
1726.
1727.
Counselor Lehman,
Yes.
Counselor Marcus, Counselor
Yeah.
Larson, Counselor Teagley, Mayor Swanson.
Yes. All right. Okay. Now we're coming up on Resolution 1729. I have it 28 on the agenda, and it's 29
Oh,
in
it's
here, and the
29.
other one said 28, so I turned it to 29. Is this one coming first? It'd be 1728. So Resolution 1728 is a resolution authorizing, granting, and conveying to Minnesota Public Radio an amendment to easement for ingress and egress only to its radio tower.
Actually, the IRRB grant is 1728. However, that was added after John and I talked about this, and so I made the resolution. However, it didn't get added to
But how
the
it
agenda.
comes on
until
the
we were-
agenda, yeah, we'll go in order of the agenda.
So it'll be 1728.
29.
28, yeah.
I read this, but what are they asking?
So long ago, NPR put that tower up.
Yeah.
And the tower's on state land, but the road going in there is on city property. So they had the city authorize an easement. They drew up an agreement, this was in 1989. However, they're selling the tower right now, and they're finding out one of the anchors of the tower was left out of the easement at that time. It's written in, so my guess is that whoever was going to formally draw this up would have included it. But there was never a resolution done, and it was never filed with the county. So there is technically no easement all these years, even though they thought there was. So they're asking that we do an amendment to include that other anchor in an easement and actually record an easement, so they can sell it.
Yeah.
And they will pay all of the legal fees?
Well, that's the question, is we do the easement, do they want us to record, or we'll just mail in the original and they can record?
They need it recorded.
Okay.
I think the only way we would do that agreement for them would be if they pay all the fees and legal fees and,
However, I don't know if at the time they paid those legal fees and the city just never recorded it,
No.
because I think it was meant to be recorded.
well, it would have to be revised anyway to include another anchor.
They did the revision.
Okay, I think that if we have to do the recording, that they can pay the recording fees.
Yeah, I mean, they should, we did the document, that they want it recorded, they can pay for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you make that motion, Mike?
Yeah, you make-
How about also move on that?
They need it to complete their sale, so
Right.
$46.50 isn't gonna kill them.
Right. Okay.
I'll make the motion that we,
The
okay,
motion's
I'll
been
support that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
So kind of reading this, they had about paying $500 a year for snow
Plowing at the
plowing
time.
and road
There's a letter
maintenance.
from Gene Plumbaum written to them that's in
And
this
Yeah.
file.
Doesn't the county? do it?
County does that.
Yeah,
Plows it.
At that time, they must not have.
And then when it was,
Maybe
the road
not.
was rebuilt, the tower fixed the road because to include that in a $500, that's,
Yeah, there's a letter written by Gene Plumbaum to them, to NPR at the time.
oh, well, he was on the council then.
he could have been. That might have been when he was.
89, yeah.
We need to do roll call. Counselor Lehman,
Yes.
Counselor Marcus,
Yes.
Counselor Larson, Counselor Keithley, Mayor Swanson.
Yes. Okay, fence ordinance.
Zoning and planning added this on there, they don't know it's coming in front of, city council. We made 2 changes, I think.
Recommending the 2 changes to eliminate building and have it be land use
Land
permit.
And then under setbacks, under number 2, added in 5 feet from the alley right away. Cause you got 5
For
feet
fences,
on the front and 5 feet in the back.
right. And in part that was due to garages having a 5-foot setback, that way it's all the same and for safety and visual. So do I have a motion to approve these changes?
So I'll make a motion to approve this.
Ordinance on fences.
Yep.
Yep, these 2.
Guys don't want to add that other one?
I think it needs to go before
I'd
long
like
range
to see
planning and
them come.
zoning first.
Okay. I'll support.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And then we have a parking ordinance. We are making a change to our parking ordinance.
Yeah, this was,
Number 2 at the
number
top.
2,
Yeah.
in part 8, number 2. No person shall park a trailer, tractor, recreation vehicle, camper, travel trailer, camper, top tent, boat trailer, storage area, motorhome overnight on any street or alley in the city.
Storage area. Shall park a storage area?
Storage area, whatever storage.
Yeah, we do get those
Storage areas, what is that? What is
those
it?
pods that
Pods.
people can rent.
Oh, okay. So
This was in the
it's a
planning and
pod.
zoning one, that was already.
Okay. We did remove wagons.
But so move that we adopt this ordinance, or
this addition to their
Addition,
ordinance.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll support that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay. Ordinance 1704. That's the one that we are going to look at changing the fee to $100 rather than, in the past, we've just charged anybody who wants to have a rezoning request. We charge them for the newspaper advertising for the hearing request, but then we also have to send out notice to all the neighbors within 350 feet of the property, and we have to have an extra meeting, and the building inspector has to be involved, so we decided that we would charge them actually $100 flat for having a rezoning hearing.
And it's still under other communities around us.
Right.
They're $200 plus, so.
400 more. The ones surrounding are 400.
So,
So I so move that we accept ordinance 151-090 that requires a $100 fee for rezoning.
I'll support that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
You got a roll call on it?
No.
Public Works pickup. Trent, want to talk to us about this new pickup?
Yeah, just kind of following the past practices of kind of get rid of our utility trucks as they got about 5 years old, just kind of keep with, so they still have value. And so
Right.
it's kind of a cheaper process for us. And I gave you the quote for, well, I got 4 different bids, and I gave you guys the lowest bid on a truck, which came from Washkey for, well, the price on the truck is $24,970 with a $13,000 trade-in, so the final price is $11,970.
And we have that in capital?
That'd be out of the
Yeah.
electric fund.
Electrical fund,
Utility
that's right.
truck.
That's right. All right.
That's why
Very
we don't
good.
budget for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, never.
Well, do we have a motion to,
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from Washkey for $11,970. Plus any applicable state license fees.
I'll support.
all in favor? Aye.
Right.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, Trent, thank you. LMC regional meeting. I would like to go to that meeting. It's $45 and it's October 26th.
You,
Yeah, I'm on that memo as well.
I just wonder if you'll still be with us at that
Well, you
point.
haven't seen a resignation
No,
from me yet,
she
so
isn't.
until
Then we
then.
just don't,
We
If I'm
don't
not
what?
here, I don't go.
yeah.
Is that right?
well,
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we let Mayor Swanson and Clerk Sturbans attend the League of Minnesota Cities Regional Meeting in Virginia, October 26th at $45 each.
I'll support it.
Is that contingent on her still being an employee of the city?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Clearly, I wouldn't go if I'm not here.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. State edition.
Oh, this
We've
is,
got that couple that would like to,
Matthews, Jim, yeah.
This coming before zoning and planning too. We have people that wanna buy 2 lots in state edition, which is behind the old shortstop. They wanna build a house and attached garage with a detached garage on blocks, or lot 3 and 4 of block 1. It's $250, or $2,500 a lot, so.
and they'd actually need to have a variance Do we need to call a variance hearing for this? To grant a variance?
We did it at planning and zoning.
But I mean, do you actually have to call for a regular hearing and advertise for it if you're gonna do a variance, or no, Mike?
We usually planning and zoning ferrets it out.
They already approved it.
Yeah, we approved it.
Can we approve it without having a regular,
We don't need a public hearing for that.
for that sort of a variance?
What variance are they asking
Yeah.
for?
They wanna build in the middle they wanna buy 2 lots and build in the middle of the 2 lots.
We're basically selling 100-foot lots up there.
Yeah, but what's in the middle? Is there designated as a?
No, it's, if they can buy both of the lots, they wanna build centrally.
Well, they wouldn't need a variance
But right now,
because-
it's,
Yeah,
They're buying 2 lots.
They're buying
3 and 4.
3 and 4, and they just want.
but there's nothing in the middle like an alley or nothing
No.
like that.
so it doesn't require a variance, you're
Yeah,
saying?
because they've got it all. They're not next to the neighbor. It's all
All
theirs.
right,
I
so
see
if
what
we
you-
sell them the 2 lots,
Right.
then they're able to build there?
Yeah.
All right.
So I make a motion that we approve the sale of the
2 lots,
2 lots.
Lots 3 and
3 and
4,
4.
state edition.
block 1?
They are also requesting to name the unnamed road.
Well,
which
I think we
planning and
discussed
zoning
that
said.
and-
we kind of left that open. If it's a good name, we'll go for it, but if,
We left it open that the city would have
It's never
say-so
open.
over whatever street names are gonna be in town. They can make a request to the city if they'd like, but there are some names we just wouldn't accept.
I don't know if there's a name
No Ted Avenue.
on it.
There's not.
I thought it was Church Avenue or Street, but I'm not positive. Because it
So-
was Church.
If they'd like to suggest something, we could certainly consider it, but I don't
Yeah.
think that we need to tell them that they can name it whatever.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
So-
they can,
That doesn't need to be part of this motion. We'll make a motion to sell them the 2 lots and that's it. Did you?
I support.
Okay. All in favor?
aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. The bike tour is set for 2018.
I'll make a motion that Masabi Bike Tour use the Curling Club if they, community center if they need it, on August 3rd and 4th of 2018.
What about cleanup? If they leave a mess down there or something, typically we've had money put down to cover,
Are they gonna rent it or did
No,
they
I
rent
don't-
it?
or is it just
No,
outside
it's
of it?
just- They store them in there. We've never had an issue. They open the door and put their bikes in there and grab them.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all that is?
If anything, we
Yeah,
can
they
bring a
don't,
bin-
they
we can
don't
bring
go
a
in
bin
there
down
or
there.
Okay,
anything.
okay,
We can bring a garbage bin down there
yeah,
for that weekend.
Right.
Yeah, we'd
They
have
go to
one
the
down
beach
there.
too and
Yeah.
there's never a cleanup issue.
okay, all right.
Well, it's the Masaba Trail people that will be there and taking care of a lot of that too, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we need to have deposit.
So this is August 3rd and 4th, and you made that motion, Stuart?
Yep.
I'll support that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right. These are the disc golf vendors invoices so far. You see lumber paint. Some gas reimbursement. I know that's something they've been talking about too. They've got a lot of people that are running to and from who would like to at least get a little gas reimbursement for their time, for their travels. So we may see that
So
too.
one thing, one of these people is they're coming from,
Cook?
I don't, somewhere pretty far, Crane Lake or something of the sort. But this gas receipt is for equipment.
Just for Tim,
Tim must have
yeah.
used it for like a
Yes.
chainsaw or something.
Yes,
And that was agreed upon.
right. So we need a motion to pay these? We already
Well, I made the
did.
motion that
Okay,
what the grant money will cover and the rest of the money comes out of the donation money.
Okay,
With regards to Bill Menard's L&L Rentals and I think Tim
Tim would be
Pastica.
considered part of the
Yeah,
agreement, yeah.
that comes out of the IRRR grant money and
Right.
okay.
the other two, the 500, Rob Wheeler and Ken Razum, that can come out of the donation money.
Okay.
So if you want to make a motion to that effect.
Well, didn't we already, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the motion was,
To accept all of this, though,
Or
I
you can need
think.
another one, I'll support John's.
Yeah, because you only did one for the
Okay.
$750.
yeah.
All right, so John made the motion to pay these and,
Well, to pay what qualifies through the grant money
right,
and what doesn't qualify is paid out of the donation money.
sure.
I'll support that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Darcy Novak. I see that there is $5 more in fees on her sheet here. I don't think it's a deal breaker, and these aren't monies that are going to them, they're going to recording fees and.
It's $989, it's not
Right.
$5.
But what we had been told was that it would be the 7,000 plus the $489. And then we now are told that it's another 500 more than that. Right? So I think we want to get her on board as soon as possible. Can we just have our attorney look through the agreement that she sent over? Have you looked through that,
I've
Mike?
looked at it.
Does it look good? Does it look in order?
I didn't see anything online. The dollar value was different, so.
Just by $500, but I really want to see this move. I don't want to wait another 2 weeks. That building's been sitting empty since January. Can we just, I mean, we made a motion to bring her on board. There is a $500 difference. Does that cause us to need to take another vote?
I just wanted to bring it up to the council, and also you see there's another memo there that we've been getting calls and people stopping up at City
Yeah,
Hall.
and that's something we could address, but that's separate from this.
But that's something that can't probably be changed once
Well-
you sign the contract with Darcy.
Well, I don't know that we'd want to change
just
anything there. I
wanted to
think we
bring
want
it
to
to
get the
the
building
council.
filled if we can. And we've already voted to have her do this. So now the only change, do we need to vote again whether we want her to do the work since we see a difference in the dollars?
Well, I think she's asking you to sign, I'd just say if you're gonna go, is that you agree to the increase of $500.
Well, I think we could.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's gonna be a game breaker.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And we'll get that signed and get her moving on selling that property for us.
I think on these comments about people, you know, it's an expense for the city and whatever. We've done this in the past. I think this year we should probably keep the building as is, keep the heat on, keep the sprinkler system going and whatever. Just give it a year. It's not a budget item. There's money in the pot to do this for a year.
The IRRB, in my discussions, has said, you know, at least give it until maybe next summer, but they want to see something happen, or at that point, I don't know that they would want to help us to cover heating for another winter past this
We
one.
can't use that
And
to money to pay
We
the
have
city's
winterized this in the
utilities.
past.
Right,
You know, it'll take a few bucks to blow everything out, but it's been done. So, I mean,
And I would just say if anybody has a problem with this, they can come to the podium and talk to us.
well, just to put it out there so I think
Right.
people understand
well,
that.
we're doing what we can. We're gonna try
If they have
and
a
market.
problem, they can come and talk to us right there.
Yeah,
We don't need to have a public hearing.
at this point.
What we're gonna do with the school. They pay attention to the council meeting and come to the council meeting and talk to us.
Well, we're here to tell the people that this is kind of our intentions, so maybe that satisfy them.
Yeah,
Well, if they have a problem with it, they can come right here.
right,
Because,
okay.
yeah, we can winterize that, but let's give it a year.
Right.
We're not gonna raise anybody's taxes for the first year.
Well, we raised them substantially last year because of that school. So I understand the concern. But it'd be far better to get that school used than to wrap it up and put it on ice, because once we do that, the building will suffer for it. And we really haven't tried hard enough, I don't think, to push that building. So I'm really hoping that something will happen so we can get it used. Now we'll move on to Resolution 1729, a resolution authorizing the City of Buhl to make application to accept funds from the Application Fund Grant Program. And this is with you're advising us to do this, John, to move ahead.
Federal government USDA application,
And you think this would be a good project for us to do?
yeah, we're gonna meet
We're
with them.
looking into it.
They're coming October 24th, was it?
Who is that?
Representatives from USDA to talk
Okay.
I don't
about the
remember the
program and
exact date.
help us get going with it.
I don't remember the exact
that-
date.
Hmm?
I don't remember the exact date,
Yeah.
I'd have to look.
Yeah, we got or Jen got an email of when they were coming, so.
Okay, and they're gonna help us before we know if we have grant monies to pay for it, or?
Well, the application process is like 140 different steps, so we're just gonna talk to them and see what exactly they all involve.
Okay,
They're the representatives from USDA and then they're a federal agency coming to town, talk about the entire application process.
okay,
Can't even kick it off, so.
all right.
So we, we want to explain to them what we've been thinking about for the project and make sure that's.
Will they help with the grant writing for it,
No, they're the
or
agency we're
just kind
applying
of,
to.
They're just
Okay.
we're
Give
just
you a
getting the
little-
money from them.
will they give us a heads up if we're,
Yeah, well, that's.
We're not
Okay.
starting anything.
Yeah, they actually, the first part of their process is to have a pre-application meeting.
right?
And that's scheduled next
Okay.
week sometime.
Yeah, so we haven't done anything. We're not gonna incur any expenses at this point. We're just looking into the process.
I'd like to be informed of that meeting, I'd like to attend it.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to accept Resolution 1729?
I'll make a motion, resolution 1729.
I'll support it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, now,
We have to do roll call.
roll call?
Counselor Lehman,
Yes.
Counselor Marcus,
Yes.
Counselor Larson, Counselor Keithley, Mayor Swanson.
Yes. All right, Buhl Community Center. We need to have agreements written agreements according to our city auditor that it would be good to have it all down on paper, so it looks like Jennifer has been in discussion with Tim Simonson from the curling club. And they have some information that they've gathered. Now, to put it into a regular agreement, I think Mike should be involved with that once we have
We
the
have like
particulars down.
templates of facility use agreements
Sure.
that you get the generic boilerplate and then put in what actually the usage is. So I could get Jennifer a copy of that so she can take a look at it.
Okay, that would be good. So these are just some of the points that you hit with him, Jen, through your
Yeah.
discussions?
Yep, and they're just things that when I looked at other facility use agreements for other towns
All right.
were included.
Do you want to draw something up? I think it's good that we all have this to kind of go over. I don't know that we want to go point by point tonight. I haven't
Well, we're
really had a
gonna-
chance to look through it.
We're gonna do this with
Well,
Boy
Yep.
Scout camp,
The
curling
senior
club, and
center.
the senior center.
Right,
So it's,
right.
they just
But
start
they'll
soon.
all be a little different,
Yeah,
just
but
according
it's
to
gonna-
what they understand and what we understand.
but I mean, in the next couple months, we just
Right.
kinda wanna pick away at
Exactly.
that a little
They
bit.
start
Exactly,
in
Yeah.
the first week in
Yeah.
December, so.
right. So we have a little bit of time, but These are some of the items, you have bullet items here, are those what he had brought to you?
So I knew most of it, but
Okay.
we just discussed it, and then we just discussed the maintenance was something that the city just wasn't clear on who was doing what. And that was kind of the only thing. We
No.
talked about the $200 to rent it for those couple events. Tim saw this before it was coming here, so.
Part of the facility use agreement is, I was just looking at this, is that the club has the equipment. And so obviously if there's a fire or something and it's not city, you're not reimbursed by the League of Minnesota Cities, that they should carry their own insurance.
Yeah,
For their equipment or,
Yeah,
yeah, the plant. Even wrecks are pretty spendy.
yeah. So I mean, that's just one of the things that,
They do own the plant. The plant is owned by the curling
Yeah.
club. They do all the maintenance, they pay for everything. The city doesn't do anything with it. Not sure if that's covered under our insurance.
well, I mean, that's
Or
kind of
not.
why you have a facility use agreement. And if the plant was purchased by the curling club, and, does it,
is that in lieu of their using it at no
well, that's
expense?
what we're going through with other entities, and
Right.
because it becomes like a attachment or fixture to the building.
Right, I think that we'd want to have an understanding that it's owned by the city in lieu of past use of the curling
Yeah.
club at little or no expense.
Have a paragraph in there, and
Because if they cease to exist, we don't want them pulling it out of there.
They
Right.
well, they own it. They own the plant.
Yeah, we bought it.
They own the plant, we own the curling club, we own the
Put
community
new plant in
center.
there.
So the
the
plant where all
headers in
that
there.
equipment is, they own that, and they own that
We took
That
a loan and
equipment.
paid for it.
Who's we?
Curling club.
curling club.
You're part of the curling club too?
Well, no, back in the heyday.
Okay.
I mean, we still had the same plant.
Okay. So how does that work? If they would cease to exist, how would that work?
That was
My-
part of what Bonnie was saying is
Well,
who
there's-
would, and since it's the curling club's building or equipment and building, they own it.
well, it's just
It's
clear
theirs.
what it is, like if they,
Whose is whose, and if they want to
then they should have
carry.
insurance for
on
their
their
plant
own-
and their equipment. and-
Okay,
And then if they were to go out, dissolve or something, they could sell the plant if they, I mean, but that's, or do they, it was gonna be city, as part of the agreement, it's to the city in lieu of past year's rent or something, I mean, I don't know what, see, the
Yeah.
discussions can get a
Yeah.
little more involved.
yes.
Well, we put that plant in like in 1985 or 86, so we're talking 30-some years old.
Well, I would
I don't
think
think
if-
Much value.
there's much
No,
value.
I would think if the
Curling club went out and
curling-
tried to sell it.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
even a condenser outside is, I mean, it still works, but that's same thing.
Pretty much price is scrap. I'll be full of
I don't think we can not have charged them rent all these years and then say, well, if your plant ever, if you ever decide to quit, we'll keep the plant for back rent.
Or in lieu of rent going forward, they.
Going forward, yeah.
And then, of course, then if the cities and,
Well, if the
hey,
curling
you're,
club's full, why would we want a plant there?
oh no, and if the plant went and they say, hey, city, fix your plant.
Well, that's part of this is that they agree that they do they've always done the maintenance at the
Right.
plant at their own expense, and the city does the maintenance at the community center. However, Stuart, you know, you guys do some of the light maintenance at the community center if it
Right.
needs to be done. Not that you have to, but they do
it.
it.
Done it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they put the toilet paper on the roll and,
they provide all their they provide all the janitorial supplies during the
well,
season.
yeah, well,
Well, could we have this put into a regular boilerplate license or agreement?
We'll get a
And then
draft.
present it at
Get
their
a
next
draft
meeting?
and then
And
let
go
the
with these
council
bullet
and
points?
curling
So we would
club-
have, so I have a recommendation on here to allow them to use it for rent-free from December to March, which is the months they use it. And with the exception of their two events, the Barney and the Billy's curling, tournament, they would pay the $200 rental fee for both of those and pay half of the food license since they're the only ones that use it. And those would be part of the agreement.
So does the Deer Hunters Association.
They pay, they rent it, they pay it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
get their own health license.
Yeah, they rent it from us. And then,
Yeah,
They have
everybody-
it catered, so they don't.
Okay.
Also, well, they
Okay.
rent it from the city, yeah. I asked him if anyone ever came forward during curling season and said, well, we wanna throw a birthday party or something in the lobby. They said they wouldn't authorize that somebody would have to come to the city and rent it out, just like anybody else would. So anybody who comes to use that pays $200, including the deer hunters. So that's why I talked to Tim about,
I think that before we vote on this, though, we're gonna wanna see the final draft, is what I'm saying. I think, even if we think it's fine and agreeable as is, once we have the
What I'm
final
saying-
draft, it could come to our next council meeting, and hopefully we'll have a full council and we'll just vote on it.
but
we
what
wanna
I'm
put our
saying,
site on there,
draft
too.
it up with,
Right.
with this.
Right.
Draft it up with no rent and, I mean, we can't really.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying to follow the recommendations you've suggested, put all of that into the contract and have that ready at our next
You
meeting.
get
so
a
we can
draft
approve
and
it.
then you present it to the curling club and say, here's
Right.
what our thoughts are.
Are you good with this?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
then
just
bring it
draft
back
it
to the
with what you
council
recommend.
and we'll take a final vote, that's all.
You need a motion on that.
Well, we're not taking any action.
All right. Have a motion to adjourn?
I just want to bring up here is, went through all the towns, got a little draft, just to keep it in your book. I'm gonna probably bring it up one of these days. But it shows Buhl in blue, these are our people. Wabick, Aurora, Gilbert, Nashrock, Huonton, just what their pay scale is for their personnel.
Since you're bringing this up, John, some years ago, I know when Chris Primo was still on council, we did pay bands. No, we did pay bands for all the different job classes within the city. And the idea of that was that if you had those in place, then when you went out to hire, whether you hired male or female, you had your pay band set and then you wouldn't fall into this. You gotta go by the state's point system to figure out if you're paying a fair wage. No, you've got these bands and it's already in place.
Well, we're not following the band.
Well, I don't know where the bands are, that's my
Well,
question.
I
If
don't
we
know.
could find our pay bands, and I'd request that, Jen, if you would look for those and see if you can find those in past
Yeah,
records.
I don't know where.
See if you can find those pay bands that were done, and it may be in with the pay equity stuff, I don't know where it's at.
Some of the problem
But
is,
I think
if we
you can
find
vote in
those,
that file.
we could probably update those and come into whatever we feel is,
I'm saying we should be up here by the green and
well,
we're in the blue.
however we pay our employees, as long as,
Well, I'll give you two instances. When Dan was hired,
yeah,
he was hired at 80%. He makes exactly what Tony makes. When Trent was hired, he's making actually a little bit more than me. I mean, you offer these guys basically what the job position it pays, but when it came to Diana and Jennifer, you're not, which has more points,
right.
they're not
But you
even
know what?
in the line.
I would
I'm
really
just-
like to see the pay bands though, so that we can kind
Cookie
of go
and
from there.
Mike were
Yep.
right in here.
I don't know where they'd be.
Well-
You and John both looked in that folder through all that stuff. If it's
I'm
not
just-
there, I don't
You're
know
not
where
finding
it would be.
them, okay.
I mean, they were here. So basically what you guys did with the utility department, you gave them about one-on-one. When I resigned, you gave Trent the money. When Dan came in, you gave him the full money because that's what Tony makes. But when the girls came in, or the office people came in, Mary was here, Mike was here, and they're a little ways from.
Well, we can look at this, but.
Well, that's why I just
Yeah,
want to
okay.
I brought it up
All
because.
right, we can look at that.
No, but just put that in your book.
They have a motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
support, all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned.
I got a question.